Hey, what's up, everyone? So I just made it back last night from the Camino de Santiago. I finished it. It was something like I think it was a little over 630 kilometers, or about 400 miles. Hiked from Lisbon, Portugal, to Santiago de Compostela in Spain. It was awesome. It took me, excuse me, it took me about a month, but there was like 7 down days. Every time I hit a big town, I ended up staying for a little bit. Until I hit Porto. It was kind of like an odd, the first couple of weeks were really, really warm. It was just abnormal weather, which worked in my favor. It was really good. It was great hiking, beautiful weather. I think it stayed around like 20 Celsius, 70s Fahrenheit. Really beautiful, no rain at all. And then as soon as I hit Porto, it just rained like 3 or 4 days straight. And then it was just kind of off and on for like that last week until I hit Santiago de Compostela. And it was awesome because like the day of my last day, I was hiking and it rained the whole day until about maybe, I don't know, the last mile or like 10, 15 minutes before I got to the church. And it just stopped raining. I just thought that was awesome. And I got to the church, got the best photos, and it just felt great. You know, I finally made it. Yeah, it was awesome. So this video is going to be about the gear update, what I didn't take with me, what I brought back, what I used, and some stuff that was just kind of a waste of space. So I'm going to go ahead and just go through everything. I already have it all laid out. Flip this camera over and I'll show you guys. All right, let's get started. All right, guys. So I guess I'll go ahead and just get started with the clothes. So I ended up taking was 2 pairs of hiking pants. I did not bring the zip-offs, which actually worked out perfect. There were a couple of days at the beginning because of the weather that it would have been useful. It would have been good to have that option, but I didn't do it. Just a rain jacket, a light sweater. Wore that probably just a couple of times. The weather was great. Plus, once I get hiking, I just warm up really quick. I don't know. For me, I don't need much. 2 hiking shirts, a short sleeve and a long sleeve. A buff. This worked out great. It's actually the first time I've ever used one. So if you guys don't know, this is like 6 different uses for this. So you can put it like on your neck. You could use it as like a little hoodie on your head. You could cover your mouth. Actually, most of the reason why I brought this out and actually used it on the trail was for all the dust. Sometimes you walk down dusty roads, or you go through farmland where people are like turning the dirt, and there's just a ton of dust in the air when you're walking by. So I would just throw that over my mouth. Oh, and also as a hood on those really cold mornings when I got started super early. Socks. I ended up bringing a few pairs. I think it was like 3 pairs of socks and underwear. I ended up dumping a pair of each. Well, actually, funny story with one, but that's for another video. So I ended up starting out with just 3 hiking socks, but I started to get warm spots almost right away. I forgot to bring sock liners, so what I ended up doing, instead of using silk sock liners, you know, the proper stuff, I went to the corner store. I didn't see any of the liners, but I bought these regular like dress socks, and I used that as a liner, and wow, they worked perfect. It cost me like €2 for like a 3-pack, and yeah, it was beautiful. Towel, microfiber, tiny thing. This thing works great. Use it, you know, if I go traveling, staying at hostels. I didn't need it. I stayed mostly at hotels. I didn't really stay at albergues, but some of the albergues do not have towels. So if you're going to be doing albergues, definitely recommend it. I probably won't bring it next time if I do it again. Just a dry bag. I could just, you know, put my dirty laundry in there. Packing cube. This thing is awesome. You put all this clothes fits in this packing cube. You just roll it up. You always want to roll it up until like a little burrito or whatever, and you just stuff it in there. And wow, saves so much space. So glad. I just started using this probably last year, I think, and I would never do a trip without one. Last thing, let's see, just some sleeping clothes, something comfortable, some cotton, something that just feels warm on me. It's just a t-shirt and then like some long john kind of pants. I got rid of my bubble jacket. I don't know if you noticed my video from beforehand. That ended up being a waste. I didn't use it at all. And it was a little cheapy. I had it for so long. I ended up just dumping it. All right, let's move on. 40-liter bag. This is nothing special. Just something that I had for the longest time. So I was like, it's only going to be 3-4 week hike. I'll take it with me. And it worked out perfect. No problem. The only thing I would recommend, if you're going to buy a bag, I would recommend the one that breathes a little bit better. This one doesn't as much. And if you're looking for a name brand, I highly recommend Osprey. This is again just like a little cheapy one. But if you want to do it, I think a 40-liter Osprey bag with a breathable back. You probably won't even have to look for that because all the new bags just have that built into it. Basically, you just have a space between the bag and your back, and it's just aired out so you don't sweat all over your bag. Yeah, and you don't get like rashes or any other problem. All right, as far as hiking shoes goes, I just brought these. These are Skechers Outdoors. A buddy of mine recommended them. He said they were great, and they're pretty cheap too. I think I paid like 50, 60 bucks or something for them, and they worked great. They're water resistant, not waterproof, which is actually what I was looking for, because waterproof socks, my feet would just be soaked unless I was going in like the winter or something. And I did not use the ankle, the ankle highs or whatever you call them. For me, these work great. I prefer this. No problems. It wasn't really too rocky. I mean, you get some cobblestones and stuff, but it's not like you're not really doing a whole lot of hiking where you have to really protect your ankles. Sleeping bag. I ended up bringing this one here, which ended up being a complete waste. I used it once and I didn't even have to. It was because I stayed at an albergue, and I just stayed at that one because I didn't really stay at any, so I wanted to just try it out, and I was at the beginning. I ended up staying at 2 albergues. One was pretty much like a hotel, and the other one was just like, it just pads in this huge room, and a bunch of people slept in it with nothing. I mean, you had no nothing, no towel, soap, no, you know what I mean? I was just doing mostly hotels just because I'm a light sleeper and I just need to sleep well. So obviously if you're going to stay at a hotel or one of the pensions, I think they're called, which is kind of like a motel. If you stay at those places, they're going to always give you towels, blankets, and soap and all that stuff. And plus they have Wi-Fi and all, so all these things so you can stay in touch with family and friends. So yeah, I wouldn't bring it again. To me, it was just a couple of kilos and a ton of weight that I didn't need to bring. But if you're going to be staying at albergues, probably a good idea to bring it. If you're going in the summer, I would bring a sleep liner instead, because it's going to be so hot. But a sleep liner just to, I guess, to get bed bugs or so. I didn't see anything, but they say towards the end of the season, especially in the Spanish El Camino, or the Francis, whatever it's called. This is my Hygiene bag. So again, another packing cube, and in here I had some shampoo, which I probably wouldn't have brought again. I probably wouldn't bring again. Let's see, some bug spray, which I wouldn't have brought because no mosquitoes, no ticks, or at least when I went. In the summer, who knows? But when I went, yeah, it was nothing at all. A little bit of toothpaste, sunscreen. Definitely need sunscreen. You're out in the sun. You're walking through little towns and fields and farmland most of the time. Very rarely do you go through like forest where you get any shade. So if it's not cloudy or rainy out and it's nice and sunny, you're gonna need this for sure. Deodorant, toothbrush. Just some antibiotic. I mean some antibiotic, triple antibiotic cream for just the feet blisters or whatever. I just kept it in here for whatever reason. Little mirror, that was kind of useless, but whatever. Aftershave, razor, some basic stuff. Q-tips, soap, stomach pills. Didn't need anything. I kept drinking all the water. I mean, we're in Europe, so it's not a big deal. I kept drinking the water out of the faucets and no problems. Like, even the fountain water, which I guess I didn't find out until halfway through the trip that's probably not a good idea to drink it, but I had no problem. So I probably would only bring like a handful of these just to be on the safe side. But even that you don't really need, because you're always going through all these little towns, so you could just go ahead and pick up whatever you need. And unless it's like an absolute emergency, you need it right on the spot. If you could wait a couple hours till you go to a pharmacy in the next town, you don't need it. So I probably would just bring a couple just to be safe. Ibuprofen, same thing. I think I've taken a couple when I had just like some just odd little pains and stuff here and there from just hiking 8, 9, 10 hours a day. Same thing. I'd probably bring like a handful. This first aid kit, I would not bring it. I'm so used to hiking like deep into the woods where you kind of disappear for like a week or a few days at least before you pop out to another town. So to me, I brought a little bit of everything, and this was minimal. I thought But there's just a bunch of tablets. Yeah, there's like cold tablets, bunch of I don't even use Band-Aids. Antiseptic wipes, all this other stuff. Honestly, if I was to do it again, I probably would bring, like I said, maybe a few tablets of each of these. I don't know, maybe just some like chapstick, maybe some like antiseptic wipes, some triple antibiotic cream, and then blister stickers or whatever this is. This stuff is awesome. I actually bought this. This was in Portugal. I picked this up. Awesome stuff. It's like some silicone or something that it just, you put it on a wall. You should try and catch it before it becomes a blister. So as soon as you start getting your hot spot, you just stop and try and readjust. A lot of times it could just be a sock, or something in your shoe, or your shoe is not tied correctly, or something really just dumb like that, because all it is just rubbing. And you definitely want to go with a sock liner. At least for me, that works great. But if you're still getting a hot spot, then take one of these out. It's like a little, like I said, like a little Band-Aid with like silicone on it. It's like second skin. You just pop that on. Wow, this stuff is amazing. First time using it, and every time I go hiking, I would definitely bring some of those. Some duct tape. That was useless. I don't know why I brought that. Hand warmers. I probably would bring it again just to be on the safe side if I ever got caught in like a little storm or something really cold. It doesn't really weigh much, so I probably would still bring like one or two, but didn't use it. The albergues again. If you're not going to be staying at albergues, you're just going to be staying at like hotels and stuff along the way, which is really cheap. The albergues are like 5 to 10 euros. And when I went, it was a little bit off season, but when I went, the hotels averaged around 15 to 20 until I hit Porto. And then after Porto, they were averaging like around 25 maybe until about the end. So yeah, but if you're going to be staying at the albergues or hostels, you definitely want to bring some earplugs, get all the snores and stuff. And then one of these, just in case people flick on the lights. Some people just, they don't really think about it. Battery bank, complete waste. And this thing is a monster. It's like a 20 milliamps or something. Great for charging your phone. I mean, you get like 7-8 charges out of it. But for me, all I do is take photos and videos. I don't have any Wi-Fi. I wait till I get to the hotel. So I don't need to, I'm not going on and, uploading video or doing anything while I'm hiking. And I don't use my GPS. I don't have, I was just using a regular hiker book. Oh, by the way, I don't have the hiker book with me. I was ripping out the pages as I was going. The reason being is because I would rip out the map and keep it in my book just so I don't have to keep taking it out of my bag. So yeah, it's not here, but it was a really good guidebook. If you see some of my other videos, you can see it's John Branley or so. It's like one of the top. It's like the #1 seller on Amazon. So if you're looking for a good guidebook, that's the one for sure. So anyways, yeah, I definitely would not bring that. But if you're going to be doing GPS off your phone, or Google Maps, or if you have the book downloaded, the guidebook downloaded, then I would probably recommend bringing a smaller one, like a 5 or 10 milliamp, just so you can get a couple of chargers or whatever you think you'll need. Didn't use this at all. This is another thing. If you're going to be staying at albergues, it'd probably be a good thing to have a little headlamp just so you're going in and out. But even that, I mean, you could just use the light on your phone. So unless you're going to be doing some night hiking, which, I mean, who's going to do that? You know what I mean? Especially the season is like spring, summer, so it's the light, it doesn't get dark until 9-ish. So kind of a waste, but I probably would still bring it just in case, only because it's light. Lapel mic, didn't really even use it, but whatever. An adapter, I just brought this one piece instead of the whole universal setup. This is just some batteries for my light. What do you call it? Can opener, little flashlight. This is just some batteries for the what do you call it? Thing charger. A little survival bracelet. Spork. Yeah, I guess it is a Spork, right? Yeah. So I get the long stem one, so you can just stick it down in like peanut butter or little bean glass things or whatever. You just get a little more of a reach with it. They said if you're going to be staying at albergues, sometimes it runs out of toilet paper, so it's a good idea to bring some, or some Kleenexes. I brought a few. Again, I didn't stay at albergues, so didn't really need that. Hand sanitizer, that's a definite must. A lock. I didn't really stay at any hostels or albergues. And albergues actually don't have lockers. At least not at any of the ones I stayed at. So that was kind of a waste. I was carrying that around for no reason. But if you're going to albergues, maybe it's a good idea to bring to bring one. But again, the two that I stayed at didn't have any lockers. You just kind of just put your stuff on the bed. And, you know, even though I did hear that some people have gotten robbed here and there, but I mean, if there's no locker, maybe you could just get like one of those little locks you could put on your bag or something. I don't know. But yeah, so I wouldn't bring that again. And then a bunch of little Ziploc bags, which when I had the 3 or 4 days straight rain, it worked out well. I was able to just put everything in the bag, even though I had a, what do you call it, a bag cover, which you definitely want to have. My backpack, yeah, you definitely want to have a pack cover and rain gear. Oh, and these are the rain pants too, by the way. That goes with the rain jacket, which I almost never even used. When it was raining out, I would pretty much just hike through the rain because as soon as I put that on, it'd be too hot. So it's either you get to the end and you're sweaty and wet, or you have rain wet, you know. So I chose the rain wet, and I just kind of hiked right through it. Especially if you're going to be doing it in like the summer or late spring. But I bring it anyways, just to be on the safe side. And honestly, I wore the jacket. The only time I've used this was in the morning. If I got started super early, like if I was gonna have a long day, and you know, if I get out at like 6 in the morning, like just as the sun's starting to rise and it gets a little cold. And you gotta remember, I started like mid-March, so if you're going like spring, April, yeah, that's all you're gonna need. You're not gonna need anything heavier than that. Oh, and then flip-flops. A broad pair of flip-flops, and that's just like, you know, when you get to the your hotel or whatever, you can just take everything off and use the flip-flops. And then you can shower with it too, so you don't have to worry about, you know, picking up any fungus or anything when you're using, you know, the showers everybody else is using. All right, so this is the last thing here. This is my certificate card here. That so you can see I started out in Lisbon, and look at all these cool stamps. This is a really cool albergue. This is the second albergue I stayed at, Pinheiros. I believe it was like maybe like 100 kilometers south of Porto, I think it was. Also, that was like the best stamp on the whole trail. And you can see some more here. And there's the last one right there. Cathedral. And then I got my certificate. So you can see they write your name in Latin. And they give you this. This is actually free if you get 2 stamps. Now remember to get 2 stamps for your last 100 kilometers. Doesn't matter if you hiked from Lisbon for the last 600 kilometers, because I was only getting 1 a day until someone told me like, oh, you need to get 2 a day as soon as you hit 100 kilometers, so they won't give it to you. So just give you a heads up. So the last 100 kilometers, make sure you get 2 a day, which is really easy. You just get one wherever you sleep, and then you get one at a cafe or whatever along the way. So it's easy enough. It's simple. And this is the famous shell. Just to give you a heads up, good idea to probably try and pick one up before you go. I think they were selling them around Porto, but if you start in Lisbon, unbelievable. There was like nothing there. There was no nothing to do with the Camino, which was surprising and kind of disappointing because I wanted to buy one and hike the whole way, but whatever, it worked out. I was able to pick one up. I think it was just after Porto, so that's cool. And so that's everything. Yep. So everything fit comfortably, easily, right in this 40-liter bag, which ended up weighing around 8 kilometers. 8 kilometers base weight. And I usually would carry like a little bit of, and I barely even tapped into it. I would usually drink a lot of water in the beginning, right before I leave, and then every time I stop at like a cafe or whatever, to get a stamp or something, I would just drink a ton of water for free. I would just go right to the bathroom and just, you know, right off the faucet or something. Or sometimes the fountains along the way, but again, you got to be careful with that. Yep, so that's it. So that's everything. And again, right in that 40-liter bag. All right, guys. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was helpful, useful. Any comments, please leave them down below. I'll definitely get back to you. Yeah, so that's it. So that was my trip. I have another big trip coming up. It's going to be about 2 weeks from now. I plan on biking from Canada down to Mexico, going through Washington, Oregon, and California. It's gonna take me about 1 to 2 months. I think it's like something like 3,000 kilometers, 2,000 miles, something like that. So it's gonna be an awesome trip. So looking forward to it. Been looking forward to it for a while. So yeah, so stay tuned, and you guys might like it. So all right, well that's it for me. So thanks again for watching. Peace. Catch you next time.